everyone! In today's video, I'm going to teach you all how I shade hair. But before we start, I'm going to share some tips. Let's go! So before we start, I'd just like to talk about the base hair. Right now, I'm not going to add the gradient, as it looks a lot nicer when I do it in IbisPaint. It also makes the shading easier. Also, I make sure that my hair outline is slightly darker. I usually go for a darker color of the base color, instead of a black, as I feel like it looks harsh. We don't want our hair outline to be too light, as it will look weird with the gradient and shading. That's about all I have to say. Let's go into IbisPaint. The first thing we are going to do is get the color of our hair. We can do this by holding down on the hair toe. I drop the color. Let's start by doing just that. There we have it. Now I'm just gonna grab any brush and make sure force fade is turned on, as well as the stabilizer on max so that we can have smooth lines. The first thing we are going to do is thin our lines. This step is pretty straightforward, so I shouldn't have to explain in detail. Just go ahead and thin the end on every line. You should now be looking at something similar to this. The next thing we are going to do is add our gradient. But first, let's add a new layer. The next thing you'll want to do is find the magic wand tool. Once you have clicked on that, we are going to start selecting our hair. Just tap in the spaces, not on the outlines. It's very important you don't miss a section out. Set our layer to add. For this, I'm going to use the airbrush. Now just brush over where you want your gradient. The color choice is up to you. I'm going to go with something bright. Add a new layer set to multiply. Now get a darker color of the base color. It doesn't really matter what brush you use, but for this I'm going to use the pen fade. I decided I'm going to use a little bit of a different color to give more of a pop. For this, have a little play around. Use the lines to guide you. Think of it kinda like shadows. Shade here you feel needs it. Lower opacities to your likings. I'm going to move my shading layer underneath my gradient to make it blend better. Now on a brand new layer, I'm going to do my highlights. Again, I'm going to use a different color instead of white to give it more of a pop. To do my highlights, I go around the hair just like this, making some lines shorter than others. Next, get the eraser tool, but lower the opacity on it. I'm not sure how to explain this part, but I just go erase a little in some places. I then go in with the smudge and blur tool and just smoothen things out. Lower opacity to your liking. Add another new layer set to add. I'm now gonna pick another color I think would look nice for the next set of highlights. Now just follow the lines of the hair. I don't add highlights everywhere, but just 2 places I think looks nice. For the next step, I'm just gonna go in with a white and add some shines. I like this because I feel like it makes the hair look more juicy. Lower opacity. The next step is optional, but go over the front of the hair with a pink airbrush. Anyways, here is how it should look after. Apologies if this video was very fast. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I hope this helped in some way.